The Holy Land is a place that is very, very close to my heart. And the reason why it is close to my heart, it is exactly because it is the fifth gospel. Now, we know the four gospels. We know the gospels of Matthew and Mark and John and Luke. Those are, of course, the real gospels. The fifth gospel is not a real gospel. The way I like to think of the fifth gospel is a really great book brought to life by a really, really good movie. When you are experiencing the fifth gospel, when you are reading, so to speak, the fifth gospel, you are seeing the scenery in which our Lord and the apostles and Our Lady and the prophets before them and the patriarchs, where they were walking. When you go to the Sea of Galilee, the Golan Heights are still there, very much the same way as they were there 2,000 years ago. There are many places in the Holy Land where we can identify Jesus and the various other actors whom we encounter in the Holy Scriptures, where they actually were. Places where we can identify, on this spot he stood. And that to me is the most amazing thing. It is often a case that Jesus becomes a little bit abstract to us. We are reading him on pages. We might see him maybe in a movie or whatever, but there's always something very abstract about Jesus, because we do not really know the context in which he walked, in which he lived. And in the Holy Land, one sees that context. And Father James Martin, a Jesuit priest from America, wrote a book called Jesus, a Pilgrimage. And in it he tells a story about how he came to a particular place at the Sea of Galilee, a place called Parable Bay. He was traveling on his own, not in a group, so he had an awful lot of time to reflect and pray and try to figure out, what am I doing here? And he looked at this context of this place where Jesus preached, right on the Sea of Galilee, on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, and he saw the terrain. There were rocks, there were thorn bushes, and there was fertile land. And that is exactly what we encounter in the parable of the sower. So all of a sudden, Father James realized, my goodness, what I'm seeing here is exactly what Jesus' audience saw. And when Jesus was preaching the parables, he wasn't talking in any kind of abstract sort of ways, as it sounds to us now. He was talking to the people from the experience that they actually had. He was telling the people what they were seeing themselves. That is one of the most wonderful things that we can experience, to see the context of the Bible, not as a written word, but as a contextual experience.